My name is Syndy Buchanan, relationship coach, speaker, and radio host in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to the Unbroken Experience. The Unbroken Experience is well established as one of the premier organizations. We're designed around strengthening the family foundation through education, mentoring, coaching, and memorable experiences created to empower the individuals that make up our communities that will directly have a positive effect on the interactions with the relationships those individuals have outside the home. Right now, our nation is going through a tremendous change. And guess what? This is the time for us to use our platforms from radio, from television, from social media to reach out to those people we're not able to tangibly be in front of at this time, but we can still be in front of them. This endeavor allows us as a team to set courageous, innovative, and profound goals, strategically plan with confidence, and brilliantly execute a solid blueprint to success financially, economically, commercially, societal, that extends its reach to more people than we can physically touch in a lifetime. I thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about the Unbroken Experience. And there's so much more to know, so much more to learn. And I look forward to partnering with you and speaking with you soon. Welcome, everyone. I hope that everyone can hear me well. Let me turn my volume down. I've got a couple places where it's playing. Welcome, everyone, to the Financial Experience. I know I have received so many comments, registrations, because this is a very important situation that's going on today. So first, I want to thank Top's PR firm for helping me put this on today after talking to them about the importance of helping our homeowners avoid foreclosure. So the purpose of today's webinar is, of course, you know that we're in a pandemic right now, and many people took advantage of the mortgage payment relief with your lenders, meaning you could not make your payments if you gave them a phone call. Some had an application, some all you had to do was make a phone call, and you could forego making your payments without penalty and without fear of them pursuing foreclosure on you. In other words, that is also what's called a forbearance. And unlike when you have an auto loan, you can defer a payment to the back end of your car loan. It's different for mortgages. It just kind of sits there until that period is over. And in this case, when it comes to a pandemic, it just sits there until the relief or the protection is gone. And then those lenders are going to be looking for that, all those payments at once, if you don't know what to do in that particular scenario. So I'm so looking forward to walking you through this loan modification process, getting you in the position to get yourself out of that situation. But I have a special guest today, and he's a busy guy. So you all have the pleasure of hearing from him from the beginning. And his name is Marcus Barney. He's also my mentor. He's a financial strategist. And like in his own words, like he says, you can't Google what he tells you. And it is the truth. I've learned so much from him. But the reason why I wanted him to come on to this format, this webinar today, is because once I get you to that position to where your mortgage is back current, guess what? Your credit is jacked up, and we've got to get that repaired. And then I don't want you to get back in that same situation again. I want you to set yourself up to where you don't have to worry about what the economy is going through. And Marcus, I'm going to bring you on, Marcus, one moment. Hey, Marcus.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good. I am going to give you the floor,
Okay.
and I want you to kind of walk everybody through what they can do after, I get them squared away on their mortgage in terms of their credit, what you offer, and then how they can put themselves in a position to be recession proof.
Got you. Okay, so listen, you guys. Tonight is a unique call, and the reason being that this is a very unique call for me is because I actually started out in real estate. Give you guys a quick background on myself. My name is Marcus Barney, originally from Stockton, California. Now I go by the name Him 500. Okay. Now, one of the things that really stood out to me about this is that I got into real estate at the age of 18. Okay. At 18 years old, I got my real estate license. When I got my real estate license, it was 2006. So understand is that in 2006, something big happened. It was a big shift in the economy following very closely after, and that was in 2007, 2008. Okay, so we started getting into loan modifications as the market crashed. So my point is that I went through this period before where people were in tight crunches, having to go through modifications, and that's really where I learned how to, when I first established and learned how to actually fix and repair credit. Okay, um, so it's a difference for me. So for people going through this situation, it's a little bit different because that's one of the reasons I got out of real estate, because I felt bad about selling homes to people. About doing loan modifications for those that I had actually just sold homes to. Um, so when I come here tonight, I said, listen, I want to give you guys something that's tangible, something that you guys can walk away from this call with that actually helps and gives you a financial blueprint to help you become recession proof to where you don't get back in these kind of situations. Okay. So I want you guys to take notes, get your pens and your pads out. Okay. I want you guys to really take good notes because these are things that are super beneficial, that actually work and things that you can do. Okay, I'm not here to tell you a whole bunch of about me. I'm here to give you things and tools that and resources that you guys can use to help improve your current situation. Okay, so one of the things that I want you guys to understand is that you do have to get to a position, that Ms. Buchanan will help you guys get through your loan modification, but you're gonna take marks and hits on your credit. Okay. Um, Credit is the foundation to essentially building wealth because as most of you guys know, like I know firsthand, is that um, most of us don't come from wealthy families. We didn't receive an inherited trust fund. So when we run into hard times, we don't have anything to fall back on. We don't really have many people to fall back on that we can rely on financially. Okay. So that's why credit is so important. So what I want you guys to do is understand is that we need to first get a mindset and a grip on credit, how it works, okay, and how the actual bureaus work. So most people don't know that the credit bureaus are privately owned companies. Okay, these are privately owned companies. These are not government regulated companies. Okay, so since these are privately owned companies, we have to know that they're private, but then there is a government sector that regulates the credit bureaus, and that sector is called CFPB, which is Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB. Okay, so you have Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is the company that regulates the credit bureaus. Okay, so keep that in your mind. So now, as you guys go through and you get your loan modified, you may take hardships. And I know a lot of people are going to get hardships on not just with their mortgages, but going through and having negative items on your credit, period. That may hinder you from qualifying for loan modifications, that may even hinder you from doing a refi, and getting a better rate. So what I want you guys to do is understand how to properly clean the credit report. Okay. So when a lot of times we think that we can just send a dispute in and things are going to fall off our credit report, and that's not true. So what I want you guys to understand how the mindset is that listen, there's a few different ways to clean a credit report. I'm gonna give you guys and give you a breakdown, and give you the two main reasons why negative items get removed from a credit report, right? Is if it's unverifiable or if it's inaccurate. Okay. In order to take something off my credit, it must be unverifiable or it must be inaccurate. So when it comes to the accuracy of the negative items on my credit report, I tell everybody, listen, pull your credit report, review it. You should always review your credit report and know exactly what's on it. Okay. So when you look at your credit report, what I want you guys to look for and look at is that I want you guys to look and go, okay, how many names is it on my credit report? Okay. If there's any misspelled names on my credit report, most likely it's tied to a negative account on my credit report. So we want to get the misspelled names removed. Then we want to go and we want to get the addresses removed. We also want to get date of births and old employment removed from our credit report. Okay. Once you guys do that, right? Once you guys do that, you can do that over the phone. You do not need to send in a letter and wait 30 days to get the negative items removed from your credit report. So call in. Hey, this isn't my name. My name is misspelled on my credit report. I need you guys to remove it immediately. I also never lived at this address. Get the addresses removed from your credit report. Now, once you move forward from there, what you want to look at is going, okay, that's going to help with things being inaccurate. If they have a misspelled name, if they have the wrong address, that's going to help with inaccuracies. Then we want to make things unverifiable. Okay. There's companies out there that report on your behalf without your permission. Okay. Like, for example, you've never gave SageStream permission to report on your behalf. You've never gave LexisNexis permission to report and verify information to the secondary bureaus on your behalf, but you also haven't stopped it. Okay. That's the key, is that there's companies out there that verify and provide information to the credit bureaus that allows them to keep the negative items on your credit report, when in reality, some of these things can be removed by a simple flick of the wrist if we knew that there were companies out there acting on our behalf without our permission. Okay. So I'm gonna give you a list of these companies. The company name is LexisNexis. You have a company named SageStream. Sage, S-A-G-E Stream. You also have one called CoreLogix, C-O-R-E Logix, CoreLogix. You have ARS, and you also have Innovis. Okay. These are all secondary reporting agencies that report information on your behalf. So let me explain something to you. What you guys want to do is contact these companies. Literally Google the phone number and give them a call. Okay. Tell them you want to suppress and opt out of them providing and reporting your information. So you want to opt out of them supplying your information to anyone. Okay. Credit bureaus included. So now guess what? Now, this is where the credit bureaus usually go to actually verify and match up information that's on your credit report when you do a dispute. So now guess what? Now the credit bureaus doesn't have anybody to lean on. Okay. So these are the steps that you want to do. Now, when it comes to removing items from your credit report, you want to use a 609 letter. Okay. Google a 609 dispute template. Okay. Use a 609 letter. But when you Google and you find a template, right? If you find a good template out there, take that template, right? And don't let it sound so template based. I tell people all the time, be creative. Go in. You don't have to take out the law portion, but go in and the standard beginning part, change it up a little bit, make it sound like a real human. Okay. So make it sound like a human. Go in and send that 609 letter in to the credit bureaus. With the secondary bureaus being blocked, and with you removing the information off your credit report to where it's limited access that they have, it makes it very hard for them to actually verify and prove accuracies on your credit report to the negative items. Okay. This is how we're going to take some of those little, if you had anything go to collections, phone bills, power bills, anything go to collection. This is how we remove our collections off our credit report. Okay. Secondly, with those late payments. Okay. Once you get up to date, if you fell on any hardships, when it comes to late payments, especially when it comes to mortgages, what I want you guys to do is have resources that you guys can use. So as you guys seen before, I told you guys, hey, listen, CFPB is a company that regulates the credit bureaus. Okay. Suppress the secondary information, the secondary bureaus. When it comes to late payments, ask your loan company if they have a forgiveness period. It's meaning, can I make 6 payments on time and will you guys forgive my late payments? If they say no, they still want to report them. Then what you do is you go and say, okay, you can go and file complaints with CFPB. Okay. You can go file a complaint with Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. That's the people who govern the secondary bureaus. What I tell people is this: one of the things that you can do that's cool is that you can file a complaint with the credit bureaus and say, hey, listen, Chase is reporting my mortgage with 90 days late and it's inaccurate. Okay, you put in a dispute. Hey, Chase is reporting inaccuracies on my credit report. They're saying that I'm I have a 90-day late. Okay, the reason why you're worried about the late payments is because this is going to hinder your credit report from you being able to build and remodify or get a refi because your credit is in bad shape. So you go, hey, listen, let me put together a letter, and I want to put a letter together and say, hey, it's reporting inaccurate information on my credit report. This information isn't true. So once you do that, what happens is that you'll send a letter to the credit bureaus. Okay, credit bureaus will get it. What I tell people is this: I say, listen, if today is the 7th, right? I tell them backdate your letter 2 weeks. Okay. Literally backdate your letter 2 weeks. So when you go to send in your credit report, you go get ready to send in your dispute letter, you're going to backdate it 2 weeks. So with today being the 7th, you will send that letter in and say that it was the 23rd, okay, of last month, September 23rd. You will put 14 days previous. Send in that dispute letter. Then you're going to wait 2 weeks. When you wait 2 weeks, you're going to send in a 30-day demand to comply. That 30-day demand to comply means, hey, where's my investigation results? It looks like it's been 30 days now, because when you send a dispute letter into the credit bureaus, it actually goes into what is a scanner. It's not a human being typing it. So it gets scanned in so that eOscar is going to read the letter for what it says. So it's going to put that backdated that backdated date. Okay. So now it looks like it's been 2 weeks that this investigation has been going on. Well, 30 days that this investigation has been going on, because you sent it backdated 2 weeks. And now 2 weeks later, which gives you a 30-day gap, you send in a 30-day demand to comply, meaning, hey, I demand that you guys provide me with investigation results for my dispute. They won't have any yet because it hasn't been enough time. At that point, we then go to the CFPB, which is the company that regulates the credit bureaus, and say, hey, listen, I sent a dispute letter in on the 24th, 23rd of last month. It's now the 30th of October, and I have yet to receive any correspondence. What happens is that it doesn't matter if they respond or anything like that. Now the credit bureau is in trouble because you probably really did miss your payments, but now the credit bureau is in trouble because they need to provide results within that 30-day period. So when you send both your dispute letter and your 30-day demand to comply into the credit bureau, and they don't have results yet, whatever it was that you were complaining about must be dissolved because the company hasn't responded yet. Okay. So that's going to be one of the things. That's one of the things I just wanted to come on here and give you guys tangible things to do. Also, when it comes to mortgages and good banks to use, I'm not sure what banks Ms. Buchanan is going to speak on, but I wanted to give you guys some insight and just some little quick behind the scenes things that are possible that you can do. For instance, one bank is Navy Federal. Navy Federal gives out pretty decent interest rates. So with Navy Federal, I tell people, listen, you don't always have to be in the military to get in the Navy Federal. Okay. So, but Navy Federal is for military people only. I know. I understand. You guys know Navy Federal is for military people only. Listen, one of the backdoor ways and the backdoor methods that have been found out and discovered to get on Navy Federal is that if you had a grandparent that was in the military and they're deceased, meaning your grandfather passed away, and you don't have any of his information, Navy Federal will still allow you to become a member without providing any information. Okay. So if you guys pick up what I put down, perfect. That's your backdoor method on how to get into Navy Federal. There's also a good bank called Alliance. Is a credit union, which is a very good credit union. They give nice limited credit cards. You can get in Alliance and become a member in Alliance strictly by only making a $5 donation to a charity of their choice. They ask you a series of questions when you when you go ready to join Alliance. If you're a member of a police department in New York City, or if you're a teacher in New York City, And if you say no, you get to the end, they'll ask you for a $5 donation, and this will get you access into their community. Okay. It's another great credit union to be a part of, especially when it comes to mortgages and things like that. That's another great credit union for you guys to join into. Okay. So that's really it for me today. I wanted to jump on here, give you guys some quick tips and strategies as far as like leveraging how to clean that credit, going through this loan modification process. Also, understand too, there's other things that you can do once you get your credit together. Okay. For example, is that one of the great things I tell people all the time is that you can literally turn your credit to cash. You can learn ways to leverage credit and start to generate an income. So if you are in a tough spot right now, and you're looking to generate extra income, I tell people, listen, while you're rebuilding your credit, there's cool things you can do. Okay. For example, I give people an example of how to get a vehicle on your credit report to just make some extra money. If you're looking to generate an extra 15 to $2,500 a month, I say, listen, there's vehicles out here like the smart car, for example. It's a very little car. It's a smart car. What I tell people is this. I say, listen, with the smart car, it's attention grabbing. It's very cheap on insurance, and you probably can lease one for about $175 to $250 a month. Okay. Literally imagine leasing a vehicle at 170. Let's just go around about $200. Imagine leasing a vehicle paying $200 a month. And at $200 a month, any entrepreneur, anybody who has a business, anybody who has a personal brand, what I tell people, I say, listen, this vehicle has 3 different sides. Imagine putting a vehicle, wrapping a vehicle and saying, hey, I'm gonna put recession proof, right? You say, hey, Marcus, I got a few smart vehicles out here. I would love to advertise for you. And I say, hey, listen, I'll pay you $200 a month. You can put my business on the driver door, right? You reach out to Miss Buchanan and say, hey, Miss Buchanan, I know you got the financial experience. I would love to put that on the on the driver's side. So now you got Marcus Barney with the recession proof team here. You got Miss Buchanan over here. That's 2 people. I will happily pay you $200 a month. You get another entrepreneur or another business on the back of the vehicle. That's 3 sides, right? That's $600 a month. I will pay you $200 a month if you're going to keep this video. I mean, if this vehicle stays moving around the city, that's excellent advertisement for pennies on a dollar of what it would cost with a billboard, and it's moving, right? Meaning it has much more impact. Okay. So follow me on this, is that people go, well, I don't want to drive a smart car, right? And I tell people, listen, you now have a smart vehicle that costs you $200 a month, generating you $600 off of advertisement, okay? And this is just to help kind of build your credit at the same time, to add some more positive accounts and positive trade lines onto your credit report. You literally can post a job on Indeed, tell people, hey, listen, I'm willing to let you use my vehicle for $150 a week, $150 a week. I'll pay for gas and I'll pay the insurance. And you can literally drive my smart car for $150 a week, and you can do DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats out of my vehicle, and you don't have to worry about insurance or gas. Just pay me $150 a week to use my vehicle. Guess what? You let 2 people split the vehicle in a week. So that way the vehicle moves for 12 hours a day, 2 6-hour shifts. That's an extra $300 a week that this vehicle now generates. So now this vehicle is generating $300 a week, 4 weeks in a month. That's $1,200 plus the $600 that is being generated from the advertisement on it. That's $1,800 a month off a $200 vehicle. So that's just ways that we have to think and look at things and understand systems to generate income. So for those of you that are watching and you're going through, if you're going through a hard time with mortgages, and you're looking to kind of get out of that hole, just be creative with your strategies and the way that you think in regards to generating more income as you guys go through this experience right now. Okay.
Thank you, Marcus.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
That was, I don't even know how you got that, all that you teach us in that. Yep. And they don't even, that was just, you guys, that was just literally a brief, because I know we've been on my first time being on your first webinar before I came in your mentorship group. I think that was 3 hours. And
Yeah.
it went by so fast, and it's still more, then after that, we're meeting twice a week and, all of that. Tell
Yeah.
them briefly, and then my team is going to drop the links to your financial literacy program.
Okay.
And then I don't know if you have any more space in your November mentorship.
We probably are down to like 4 or 5 spots left in the November mentorship. But explain to them briefly what it is.
Yes, the financial literacy. I think it's like the D. Basically, they can do it themselves,
Yeah.
and then the mentorship. Yeah.
Okay, so I have a financial literacy course where I teach people in depthly, give you all the tools that you need on how to clean your credit report. I teach you how to clean your credit report, how to structure that report, and how to go out and get $25,000 to $75,000 in funding. So I give you the banks that you need to apply for. I teach you how to get 5 credit cards with 2 inquiries, so that way you can go out and get funding. I also teach you how to hide your credit utilization. So that way, let's just say you were behind on your mortgage, or you're looking to spend and make an investment, you can hide that credit card utilization and you won't pay interest on the money. So when you go out and get the 50,000, I show you how to hide the utilization so you can use that money and get out of the hole that you're in and not pay interest and go deeper in debt. Okay, so that's one of the things, that's the benefits of that. And also teaching you really how to clean that credit report and everything that's needed to structure it, and making sure that you add the proper accounts to your report to actually hit those data points. And that's my financial literacy course. That's a $497 course. Now, I have a mentorship where you work with me personally for a year, and you get access to me, and I teach you guys how to start leveraging credit to create multiple 6-figure businesses. So I teach you how to create and leverage a credit repair business. I teach you how to create and leverage a trade line business. And a trade line business essentially is that you guys have good credit, or once you get good credit, is that being able to add people onto your credit card as an authorized user and generate money from it. Okay. So I tell people, I say, listen, you can add 10 people to a credit card and charge them $650 a piece. All right. So you imagine adding 10 people to my credit card as an authorized user. So that way they get the credit history from my credit card. So if I had a credit card that's been open for 10 years and it's $50,000, they now have a $50,000 credit card on their credit report that's been open for 10 years. Okay. I charge them $650. They never get access to your credit card. I show you how to protect it so you're always protected, and how to operate and structure this business. Okay. So at $650, if I add 10 people, that's $6,500. You only leave them on there for 60 days. And every 60 days, you make $6,500 by getting a new set of 10 people to add to your credit card. Now, $6,500 every 60 days equates to right at almost $40,000, right? That's almost the average person's house. That's almost the average household income in America. Okay, just off of having one credit card and being able to properly leverage this credit card and generate an income from it. Okay, not only that, I then teach you how to go out and create your own funding business. I teach people how to get 15 credit cards and only have 4 to 5 inquiries. Okay, now imagine going getting 15 credit cards with 4 to 5 inquiries in excess of up to 100,000. Yes, it's beneficial for you, but then I also teach you how to structure that business to help other people. And when you do that, you make a 10%, you make 10% of what you get them funded. So I teach you how to set that business up. Then I teach you the things that nobody tells us about credit cards: how to grow and structure your credit cards, how to properly use reward points, how to use your credit cards to not pay for groceries, how to travel for free, how to not pay for toiletries, how to leverage credit to not pay for your mortgage. These are all things that I teach you on literally leveraging credit to help you really become recession proof. And last thing, I teach you how to get vehicles as well, luxury vehicles, and not pay for them. Pennies on the dollar, literally pennies on the dollar, to drive luxury vehicles, at the same time building these multiple 6-figure businesses. Okay.
Yes, thank you. And tell everyone where they can find you on social media.
So you can find me on Instagram at him500. You can follow me on Instagram at him500, Marcus Barney on Facebook. But my Facebook friend list is already filled. So you guys, the easiest way to contact me is on Instagram at him500, HIM 500.
Thank you so much. I know you have an 8 o'clock that you got to get to.
Yes.
And I will see you next week. It's next week, right?
Yes, next week
Oh,
on the
yes.
15th.
All right. Thanks again, Marcus.
All right, you have a good one.
Okay, you too. All right, guys. Listen, let me plug back in my microphone because I want to make sure you guys can make sure that you guys can hear me very well. If you cannot hear me for some reason, just drop me a note in the comments. But that was a whole lot of nuggets. There's no way possible that Marcus can provide all that we learn as a mentee. But you should see in the chat box some links. You all need to go ahead and pull your credit report. Take a look at that. One of the things that you need to just still staying on the credit wise, that you can have a great credit score, but a poor credit profile. So anyway, and you'll learn more in that if you want to sign up for his financial literacy course, which that's at your own pace, or like myself, who's one of his mentees. Those links should be. I see one of them, and then there should be a second one that drops in a minute. Okay, so now it's my turn. We're here for the loan modifications. I'm going to be doing this on a weekly basis because, guys, I literally pulled the foreclosure report just for Georgia alone was sent to me just yesterday or the day before yesterday. And just in this month alone, we have over 18,000 homes that are facing foreclosure right now. They're under the protection of the CARES Act. But once that is done, and who knows how long that's going to be, since they haven't extended it or approved it, or who knows what they're going to pass in these coming weeks or coming days, who knows. But whenever that protection from actually being foreclosed on, where foreclosure proceedings begin, those lenders are going to be looking for those payments on top of the payments that are going to continue to come. And some lenders, if may give you a certain time period, and at that point, you can even no longer even make payments when the foreclosure proceedings begin, or for at least when you're in foreclosure status. Maybe you don't have a sale date or something like anything like that. But if once you're in foreclosure status, your only option at that point is to bring your case current. So the first thing I want to go over is to identify and recognize that you are delinquent. And as much as we may want to tell ourselves, okay, I only owe $6,000. I can do this and I can do that, and I'll reinstate myself. 9 times out of 10, as much as in our minds we feel that we're capable of doing that without borrowing from a family member or a friend that you'll end up owing again, if you could have paid the smaller amounts that got you delinquent to $6,000, you would have paid it then. So we have to come to the realization and the understanding that we couldn't pay our $2,200 mortgage note. Now we owe $6,000. Let's be realistic in knowing that it would be a challenge for you to catch that up on your own. Is it a possibility? Yes, you might have some kind of situation that happened. You have a big, income coming in from somewhere, and you can catch yourself up. But if you're not in that situation, then you have to, once you identify and recognize that's the situation that you're in, what are your options? So of course, we know about the short sale or deed in lieu, but if you're anything like me, I don't want to hear nothing about having to give up my home, especially having children and having to uproot them. And then if you think about it, if I'm having to leave my home, I've got to have my credit run to either get an apartment or rent a home, from someone else. That right there is going to cause problems. You're either going to get denied, or they're going to require you to pay 2 months deposit, a month's deposit, and 2 months rent, or something like that. And if you had that, you might as well pay your mortgage. All right. And then you have the repayment plan. The repayment plan is great, except for number one, your income has to fit the repayment plan. So let's say you owe $10,000 on your mortgage. They'll divide it up anywhere between, you have to pay that $10,000 back anywhere between 2 months and 6 months, something along those lines. But whatever that comes to, let's say your repayment plan is $2,000 a month. That's $2,000 on top of whatever your regular mortgage payment is. So if it's $1,500, $2,000, you add that to your repayment. And so your income has to support that. And if it doesn't, then you'll be denied for a repayment plan and you're still in the same situation. And of course, there's foreclosure, but we don't want that. That's why we're in this particular scenario right now, this webinar right now, discussing loan modifications. And if you don't know about a loan modification, it is a free program that most lenders, unless it's a small, like a private lender or something like that, most lenders participate in the programs with loan modifications, forbearance, and things of that nature. Okay, so then you have a couple options. Let's say you are unemployed, which is the scenario a lot of people were in once the pandemic started. What you would do first is contact your lender. And if you have an unemployment letter because you're a wage earner, so the only way you can qualify for unemployment is if you're a wage earner. So that doesn't qualify for a business owner. But if you have that unemployment benefits letter, you send that in. It's a pretty easy application process, and they'll put you in a forbearance program. It can be anywhere from $0 a month to $100 a month. But what people also don't realize with that is the same thing that they're doing right now in terms of not having to make your payments during this pandemic, as far as the CARES Act is set up. But let's say that you are in a 12-month forbearance program. The forbearance, like I said earlier, it is not like a car note that you defer and put it on the back end and you're not stacking up missed payments. A forbearance, you're stacking up those payments. So if you go all 12 months, at the end of that 12-month forbearance period, you owe those 12 months upfront. So what do you do then? So whether you're in the forbearance or you're already delinquent, we want to focus on the loan modification process at this point. And anybody can go to their lender and say, I want a loan modification. The trouble is getting approved. And I want to walk through this process with you as quickly as I can, so that we can kind of break down the process. So when you call your lender and you say, I'm behind on my mortgage, and I would like to request a loan modification. That is the wording you can use. The first thing that they're going to ask you is, what is your hardship? And your hardship can be pretty much anything, as long as when you send in later the bank statements, it doesn't show something else. So a divorce, unemployment, obviously. If you're a business owner, business income loss, and we'll go over how you show that. A death of a homeowner, if you have a co-borrower, or even a death of a spouse is considered a hardship. Obviously, some kind of weather catastrophe is a hardship. If you go from wage earner to a fixed income, that's also a hardship. So if you retired and you're now on a fixed income, or you are now receiving Social Security as your income, that is considered a hardship. And actually, in that particular scenario, you do not even need to be delinquent on your mortgage to qualify to submit for a loan modification. All right, so you have all your hardships. That's what they're going to do. Then they're going to want you to fill out what's called the borrower financial report. So obviously, your information, your name, social, and all of those kinds of things. And they want the acknowledgement that you have intentions on keeping the property. So then let's talk about employment status. So with a wage earner, it is what it is. So whatever your W-2s say, whatever your pay stubs say, that's what they'll be using as your income. As a self-employed individual, there's some tricks that you can get around. If you anything like me, I like my write-offs. And so they take the income that you wrote off. So let's say you brought in $100,000 a year, but you wrote off all the way down to $30,000 a year, they're taking that $30,000 income. But I'll come back to this later and how you can supplement, showing that you actually, make more. And that's going to come into your profit and loss statement and your bank statements. Okay. Um, and let's say that you have before I get to that. All right. And so you're going to fill out your income. And you can also, if you don't make enough income yourself, anybody can be a contributor. And they're called a non-borrower contribution, a non-borrower contributor. It can be your significant other, your spouse, or your live-in boyfriend or girlfriend. It can be a kid of age, 18 or older. And to be honest with you, they're not, they don't, let's say that your child is living, your teen or your young adult is living with you and they're not paying any rent. They're not going to, you don't have to say that they're actually not paying, but if they actually make money and can show that they're making money, all you have to do is write a letter and say, so and so contributes to the household X amount of dollar. And that income, as long as they can prove with a W-2 or a pay stub or bank statement that they're actually bringing in that amount of money, then you can use that person as a non-borrower contributor to help with your income. That's going to later, when we talk about the income and expenses and the debt to income ratio. So that's the non-borrower when we talk about income. Expenses. Sometimes a lot of times why people were getting denied is because they put every expense under the sun, thinking the more debt they show, the more valid their hardship is. But you do not want to do that. You want to stay around that 31, but I usually like 23 to 31% debt to income ratio, because what they look at, they're not looking at, oh yes, they have a lot of debt and that explains why they had this hardship. They're looking at, you have so much debt that if we approve you for a loan modification, it won't work. So you don't want to put everything under the sun. Anything in your credit report, they're going to automatically include. So if you have a car note, that's anything reporting to your credit report is going to be included. But let's say, for instance, you had a personal loan that's not on your credit report, or something else that's not on your credit report. You don't have to include that if you don't want to. I'm just, letting you know that that's a little secret. You don't have to include that. But what you do want to keep into consideration for yourself is, thinking of all the debt that you have and how you can alleviate that debt during this process. Whether you make a phone call and say, can I not, is there any program available for me to alleviate this debt? But as far as a loan modification, all you need to do is make sure you're including whatever is on your credit report. So if you have any loans, so that's going to be your car loan or a credit card, and you can just do whatever your minimum payment is. So going on to the expenses, you definitely have to include food amount, but you want to keep it reasonable. If you're a household of 4, you can get away with only putting about $200 in there. You want to put your utilities in there. Don't put your highest bill because it was wintertime and your heat was going forever and your bill was $500. Do your average bill or your least amount, $89. I always like to put off numbers instead of $80, $85, $86 or something like that. So you want to make sure your income can support your expenses, but you don't want to list every expense under the sun, because you're going to get yourself denied. And that's what ends up happening to a lot of people. I did this for so long, being paid. And when I tell you guys, the law firm that I contracted for, we charged our clients $3,500 to help them get approved for loan modifications, and they paid it because, one, when you're in foreclosure status, you're not even making payments at all. So they have it there available, but we just knew the tricks and the trades of it all. And I'm giving all this information to you complimentary for free. Okay. And all right, we talked about non-borrower contributor. Let's talk about bankruptcy. And in relation to bankruptcy, I want to talk about if you have a foreclosure sale date. One of the way there's a few ways that you can stop the foreclosure from happening. So if you're in foreclosure status, you may not have a sale date yet. But I'm talking about if you have a foreclosure sale date scheduled and that bad boy is coming up and maybe you haven't even started the loan modification process, or maybe you started it but you didn't get it into underwriting in time before they set that date. So there's a couple things. One, obviously, is contacting your lender. There are some lenders, if you're actively working on the loan modification and you're providing them what they need, you can give them a phone call and you request that the foreclosure sale date be postponed. They're kind of getting away from that a little bit more, but it's worth a try. Obviously, if you have a foreclosure sale date and you're in underwriting, they will suspend it or cancel it on their own. But I never rest with that with my clients or my past clients. But I will call just to make sure all the way up until they officially say that it's been canceled or postponed. Do not do, and you want to contact the foreclosure attorney directly, not just your lender. I will call the lender and the foreclosure attorney on behalf of my clients. And then, of course, there's filing bankruptcy. And your bankruptcy attorney that you choose is going to know what you need. So it's not necessarily a Chapter 13 or 7. And if you feel like you need to file bankruptcy for real, then you can proceed with it. But it's actually called a stay. A stay, and meaning whoever is pursuing you has to stop immediately. And that gives time for the loan modification process to continue in hopes of getting you approved. Let's say that you last year or a few months prior already filed bankruptcy, and so your stay is no longer active. Meaning you can file bankruptcy if you want, but you're not protected under the stay. And so, with that said, if your significant other is okay with filing bankruptcy, that can also stop the foreclosure. But what a lot of people don't also know, let's say that you and your spouse file bankruptcy to stop the foreclosure, and that's it. A lot of people don't know you got to have someone willing. But if you quit claim deed, it can happen in the moment. Quit claim deed someone onto your home, and they file bankruptcy, anyone with the interest in the property, if they file a bankruptcy, they cannot proceed. They're protected under that stay as well. So that's a little nugget for you guys. All right, so moving on. We talked about types of hardships and all of those kinds of things. So I want to move on to some of the, hold on, I lost you guys, hold on. Okay, I want to move on to some of the things that are a little bit more complicated. And if you have questions, please drop them in the comment box. If I can't get to them tonight, I will definitely follow up with you guys to make sure that I answer those questions for you. Those who are self-employed or business owners who are, let me talk to the small business owners, where you may not have QuickBooks or anybody, a payroll company where you're actively keeping up with your accounting and your books. You are making it happen, making it work. You're accepting cash here and one account there and PayPal here and Cash App here. All of that is fine. First, you have to fill out a profit and loss statement for the last 3 months, a full 90 days. And you can put some expenses in there, but whatever income you put on that profit and loss, you have to be able to match it to your bank statement. So you can provide them 3 different accounts, 4 different accounts. As long as your name is on that account and you see a income, just circle that bad boy. I don't care what the income came from. As long as it says income, a deposit, you can circle it and say that's a part of my income. And so if you can pull reports from statements from Cash App, and of course PayPal, and of course your bank statements. So you don't have to just rely on your tax return um, income after all of your write-offs that you had, because that won't work. You can just literally pull your bank statements from where you need them from, circle the incomes. They're going to ask you to label it. So if you have two businesses and you did two profit and losses, you can circle all the income, but then you're going to have to go back and label which business that it belongs to. And as long as it adds up to the amount that you have on that profit and loss statement, they will take that. And the last thing that I want to talk about is a little secret nugget called the Home Safe. The Home Safe program. I'm not sure about in other states, but I'm here in Georgia. So the Home Safe program, they will either reinstate up to $50,000, or depending on your scenario, they will make your mortgage payments up to 12 months while you get yourself together. And it does not have to be paid back. And I believe you have to be in your home for 5 years. If you refinance or sell or something like that, I think the proceeds have to go back to them. But as long as you stay in your home for at least 5 years, that amount is forgiven. The only tricky part is that you have to move fast on it, because they're grant funded. So if the funds run out, that's it. But that's also another option that people don't know about, especially if you were approved for a loan modification, and it's not been 2 years yet, and you fell behind again for whatever reason. It happens. You have that resource potentially if funds are still there. So I think that's it. I know that the loan modification process can be very tricky, and I am here. So if my team could drop in, I've given you a lot of points to go off. You can replay it as many times as you want, and you can even send me a direct message if you have a question. But if you're finding trouble getting it approved, or you're in a panic, they're going to drop a link. They already did, where you can schedule a coaching session with me, and I will take you on. I can't make any guarantees, and I'm not giving any legal advice. However, you have access to all of my years of expertise. If you saw the flyer or registered, you would have seen I have helped over 3,000 homeowners here in Georgia save their homes from foreclosure. And it is something that I actually love to do. I've helped family members as well, and friends, and will continue to do so. I just ask that you all follow me. If you're not already following me, you can follow me at the Syndy B. Y'all know I say always spell my name right. You should see it at the bottom. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at the Syndy B. And I will be following up with you guys for some more freebies. Hopefully you went to the financialexperience.org and you downloaded that freebie that I had, because that kind of talks a little bit about what I talked about tonight. But if you need that one-on-one with me, you can go to the link that's posted in the chat box and schedule a coaching. You'll become my mentee, basically. So I am going to spend some time going over some of the comments, and I'll reach out to you if I missed anything. But that is all for me, guys. And I have truly enjoyed this. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but as a relationship coach, it can get busy sometimes. But I am going to be doing this on a weekly basis. So when you see me share this information, or you receive the email, please share it. We have over 18,000 mortgage defaults in Georgia for this month alone. So if you don't share, they won't know. Some people don't even know about a loan modification, and some people don't know where to turn to if they've been denied, and didn't even know that just because you receive the denial doesn't mean that it's an end for all. So thank you all so much. You can follow me again at the Syndy B and visit me at thesyndyb.com. And I will see you guys again next week. Have a good night. My name is Syndy Buchanan, relationship coach, speaker, and radio host in Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome to the Unbroken Experience. The Unbroken Experience is well established as one of the premier organizations. We're designed around strengthening the family foundation through education, mentoring, coaching, and memorable experiences created to empower the individuals that make up our communities that will directly have a positive effect on the interactions with the relationships those individuals have outside the home. Right now, our nation is going through a tremendous change. And guess what? This is the time for us to use our platforms from radio, from television, from social media to reach out to those people we're not able to tangibly be in front of at this time, but we can still be in front of them. This endeavor allows us as a team to set courageous, innovative, and profound goals, strategically plan with confidence, and brilliantly execute a solid blueprint to success financially, economically, commercially, societal, that extends its reach to more people than we can physically touch in a lifetime. I thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about the Unbroken Experience. And there's so much more to know, so much more to learn. And I look forward to partnering with you and speaking with you soon.